It is time to speak about Hyliion. I know that it's pronounced Hyliion, but I've been calling him Hyliion for too long to change now. What is happening, investors? It is your boy Jack. I am not a financial advisor. March is coming soon, people. I'm waiting on samples. But anyway, today we're going to be speaking all about Hyliion, or Tortois Acquisition. Right now, the ticker symbol is SHLL, and they're one of the big EV players. I have been getting asked about these guys more and more as of late, primarily due to the fact that they have been hit particularly hard over the last week or so. So today, we're going to go through absolutely everything I can get my hands on in regards to Hyliion. We're going to spend a lot of time digging through the investor presentation because that's where a lot of the juicy information is. We're going to primarily be comparing them to both Nikola and to Tesla because they're the other two big players in regards to electric semi-trucks, Class 8 vehicles. We're going to have a look at, how many vehicles they've sold, how many are on the road. Of course, we're going to speak about the management and the CEO because that is really important. You want an Elon Musk, not a Trevor Milton. And we're going to have a look at a few articles that also give us some really good insight into the company. So there is genuinely a lot to cover in today's video, but hopefully you can leave this video after watching it till the end with a good understanding of Hyliion, and you can either be confident in the investment that you've made or decide to invest or to stay away. That's the goal from today's video. And right before we start getting into the information, people, I have to thank you all so much. Last night we hit 15,000 subs. That is a crazy number. I genuinely appreciate you all so much more than I can describe. Thank you so much. I also asked for 200 likes within 2 hours on a video yesterday, and I said I would do double uploads all week. You got 200 likes in about 45 minutes. You guys are absolutely insane. I have so much love for you all and the support you're showing me. It is so motivating to me. I can't even describe it. With that being said, please do smash the like button on this video. Help the YouTube algorithm. I'm double uploading all weekend, while everybody's taking the weekends off. We grinding out here, baby. If you're new around here, hit that juicy red subscribe button. Join the family. We post 10 to 11 videos every single week out here. And please do drop me a comment down below. Let me know what you think of Hyliion. Let me know if you're invested or if you're staying away for whatever reason. I'm always interested and I always love interacting with you guys in the comment section. So with all of that being said, guys, let's get straight into the juicy information. We're going to kick things off with the investors presentation. You guys probably know at this stage, I absolutely love investors presentations for getting loads of easy to digest information in. And the first thing we're greeted with in this one, okay, is the summary of the proposed transaction. So what will this merger with SHLL actually entail? I am going to assume you more than likely know what's going on here. There will be a reverse merger with Hyliion with this SPAC company, the Special Purpose Acquisition Company that is Tortois Acquisition Corp. Right now it is still trading under the ticker symbol SHLL, but when the merger does go through, we're not sure when that's going to be, but when it does go through, the ticker symbol will change to HYLN. While we're here, I'm going to show you a few key numbers to keep in mind, okay? Before we even look at the stock chart, I want you to keep this market cap in mind. Right now we're at about $500 million, 500 million. On the 1 month chart, we shot up, okay, nearly 100%. We shot up over 80%. But since then, it's given back a lot of that value, down pretty much 43% on the monthly chart from the peaks. But one thing I really want us to keep in mind is this market cap of $500 million, okay? So, the summary of the proposed transaction. Tortois Acquisition Corp is a publicly listed SPAC with over 225 million cash held in trust. So, Hyliion and Tortois are combining to advance and accelerate the commercialization of Hyliion's electrified powertrain solutions. We're going to get into all about that very soon. So, Hyliion shareholders are owning 100% of their equity, and transaction proceeds are being retained in the business. So pro forma for the transaction, Hyliion will have 520 million of cash to fund growth based on cash held in the trust and 325 million in PIPE proceeds. PIPE stands for a private investment in public equity, and that entails buying shares of publicly traded stock at a price below the current market value per share. That's all the PIPE means. So that deal, which was the 325 million, was at $10 per share. So that's all this means. If you see PIPE proceeds whenever you're looking into these reverse mergers and these SPACs, that's what that is referring to. So Hyliion's going to have about 520 million of cash to fund growth based on what has happened or what we expect to happen. Right now, Tortois Corp is sitting at a market cap of 523 million. Keep in mind, our peaks were up at $31.84 a share. So there should be a $1.1 billion enterprise value with no debt outstanding at closing. And right now we're at a market cap of $500 million, and that represents attractive entry multiples relative to peer group metrics, and it does look very attractive at these price points, I'll be honest. So what's the mission? I always like to know the mission, especially in regards to these EV companies. It's to be the leading powertrain provider of electrified solutions for the commercial vehicle industry. We'll speak about what powertrains are in just one moment, but basically this entails electrified trucking, reducing GHG emissions. It has the lowest total cost of ownership, which is very, very important, guys. These are Class 8 vehicles vehicles. It's businesses who use these vehicles. There is a strong customer demand, and there's about an $800 billion market opportunity. And again, the market cap of this company right now is $500 million. So here's both of Hyliion's solutions or products as of right now, okay? The Hyliion Hybrid Electric, which has already had early deployments in fleets with 30,000 plus trucks. It has physical products, okay? It's important to remember the whole time we're speaking about Hyliion that Nikola is considered a competitor, okay? So Hyliion is already well ahead of Nikola in that they have products out there on the roads right now. And then the Hypertruck ERX, okay? This will be their whole truck. So right now, this is just the powertrain solution. This will be a whole truck that you can purchase, okay? Customer trials in 2021 with launch partner binding pre-order for 1,000 trucks. So they already have a pre-order for 1,000 trucks. So the powertrain solution, the Hyliion Hybrid Electric. So this is agnostic against all trucks pretty much. It just means that it works with nearly all Class 8 vehicles on the roads right now. So their powertrains are essentially a way to hybridize your existing Class 8 truck. So say for example you have a Class 8 diesel truck and you want to get some sort of electric energy into your already existing truck. You don't want to have to buy a new one, but you don't want to make your current vehicle more efficient. Using one of these systems, okay, will lower emissions, lower fuel costs, and give a better driver experience. And this is what it's made up of. This is the powertrain right here. All of these different pieces. And I've watched a few videos and a few interviews, and oftentimes you see these trucks have multiple sets of wheels. The back ones will be where the powertrain's installed, and then these front ones will still run off diesel, essentially is how it works. Now this is something very, very important. As of right now, Hyliion offers the lowest total cost of ownership across the board. So as of today, available today, their hybrid electric solutions. Upfront vehicle cost is higher, 7-year total fuel cost is lower, savings versus diesel plus 6%. So it's a marginal saving and it helps the environment. So it is a win-win, but the future solutions is what is really, really exciting to us investors, okay? Their Hypertruck ERX, their truck. So they've done this, you know, they've created this powertrain that can be put onto any existing Class 8 vehicle, and now they're making their own complete truck. And again, they already have 1,000 pre-orders in for. So availability will come in 2021. Similarly to Tesla, like with their semi-truck, if you listen to the Q2 earnings, you'll be aware of this. Nikola is expected to be 2023. Now, I might be biased on Nikola, I will admit it. They are literally my least favorite, pretty much of any of the big EV companies at least. So I don't really even consider Nikola to be competition. I think they're already just too far behind. They have too much to do. They don't have any charging stations. Hydrogen is very expensive. The numbers they're putting out there don't add up. I don't like them whatsoever. But if we just compare the Hypertruck ERX to the Tesla Semi, upfront vehicle cost, it costs 20,000 more. 7-year fuel cost about 3 and a bit thousand less. All in all, 7-year total cost of ownership, $279,000. Tesla would be $438,000. Nikola, don't even consider them competition, but they'd be $637,500. Now again, we do have to understand the fact that this is coming straight from the words of Hyliion. So they may be trying to make it look slightly better than it is. That wouldn't surprise me at all, but the numbers are there, and the numbers do represent that the Hypertruck ERX will quite clearly be the most cost-effective solution for Class 8 vehicles going forwards. And again, Class 8 vehicles are used purely by businesses, and businesses care about margins. They care about profitability. They want the best product at the best price. As of right now, Hyliion, from what we know, has that. At this stage, some of you may be thinking, it's easy to have a cheaper product if it's, you know, inferior. But if we go down, okay, their range is the highest by far. I mean, very far. Range, 1,300 miles. Tesla, 500 miles. Now, it wouldn't surprise me at all if Tesla's range is actually more, but again, this is what we have to work off currently. And keep in mind, I am a Tesla bull. I very much so am. I'm invested in them heavily. They're my biggest holding now. But Tesla is much more than a Class 8 vehicle producer. This is all that Hyliion is going to do as of right now, is focus on Class 8 vehicles. Tesla has so many different avenues. They have vehicles, they also have solar, they have so many different types of vehicles, you get the picture. Payload capacity, again, they just smashed the competition. Performance, 0 to 60 miles per hour loaded. It's not even important, but still, it's joint best with Tesla. And the refueler charge time is the best. Well, joint with Nikola, but Nikola doesn't even count. So it has the cheapest price point and the best performance. And again, we know that one of the most important things with these Class 8 vehicles is going to be the range. These are used for very, very long journeys, across country journeys. So that range is a massive factor. And seeing something like this, Agility pre-ordering 1,000 Hypertruck ERXs. The upfront vehicle cost here is $220,000. That equates to a lot And I mean a lot of revenue for a company with a market cap of $500 million. So some of their partners, I'm not going to go through everybody here, but one that I do think is really interesting and I really do like is Dana, and I've actually considered investing in this company. Very cheap company right now, $12.53 a share with a market cap of $1.81 billion. And these guys are a supplier of axles, drive shafts, transmissions, etc, etc. And they are the industry leader in doing so. Now there are obviously lots of other companies here that they do work very closely with, but this is one that is worth having a look into if you're interested. I might end up making a full video on them someday. So the market opportunity, obviously something very exciting. There needs to be a market for your products or else you're never going to make money. So Hyliion's total addressable market, okay, about $800 billion replacement market opportunity, okay? 8 million trucks in operation, and of course they're projected to grow. The whole EV market is, I'm not going to get into that, but EV is growing. EV trucks are growing, cars are growing, everything to do with electric vehicles is growing right now. And there's currently 944,000 trucks sold annually, and that is definitely going to be approaching the million plus mark very, very shortly. So this is what the competitive landscape looks like. And this is what's really important to me, the Class 8 long haul. Because I mean, if you're getting a Class 8 vehicle, yeah, some of them being sub 300 miles could do the job, but realistically, you're going to want that 500 mile plus. Now, Tesla is the only one in BEV, battery electric vehicles, and their range does barely hit that 500 mile mark, but it still does nonetheless. Then we have FCEV, fuel cell electric vehicles, okay? Nikola is the only competition, and in my eyes, Nikola is not the competition at all. Or slash CNG, they're the only one, and hybrid electric, they're the only one. The competition is not massive, guys, not by any means whatsoever. And when we see some of the target customers, there's some massive names in there you're all going to be aware of. And there is an absolutely massive total addressable market right now. They only need a very small portion of that, and I'm speaking a very small portion, to be worth considerably more than what they are right now. Even 5% of that market would equate to about $40 billion. For a company with a $500 million market cap as of right now, that's a substantial amount. And I see no reason realistically why, if things go well and if things go as expected, they couldn't have a much larger market share. But that is definitely speculation, you know. We're ultimately not going to know until things start to develop a little bit further. Next year will tell a lot. So, the leadership team, the management, you guys all know that this is very, very important to me, okay? And this man is the founder and CEO. Thomas Healy. I've watched a few interviews with him. I've seen him in a few YouTube videos, and I like the man. I like the way he comes off. He seems like a very down-to-earth, very real person. And I know some people critique me for even speaking about this, but the way a person comes across to me, the way a manager comes across to me, the CEO of a company comes across to me, is really important. I don't just mean it's a little bit important, I mean it's really important. I spoke about this in a video recently, but good management and a good CEO can literally bring a company from losing money, from losing value, to making hundreds and hundreds of percents on a yearly basis. So Thomas Healy, the founder and CEO, founded Hyliion in 2015. Obviously I'm not going to bring you through all of this, but let's just say he has a lot of history. Degrees in mechanical engineering and public policy, and a minor in business administration. He's a published technical author, founder of HeadSmart Labs, a concussion research laboratory focused on improving helmet technology, a semi-pro football player, president's athletic conference scholar, and a former race car driver. He has quite a cool history. Now, relatively young guy all in all, but then when we look at the other members of the leadership team, there is an awful lot of combined experience here. Patrick Sexton, the Chief Technology Officer, very important for an EV company. 23 years senior engineering experience in the automotive industry. Worked at Ford, worked at Dana, who they're working with right now. Greg Vanderveer, the CFO, 30 years senior finance and CFO experience. Michael Camp, the COO, over 35 years of senior executive sales, marketing, product management, and P&L experience in high-tech companies. So the head of the company, the CEO, I really like the look of them. They have a lot of combined experience just between these three men right here of very relevant sectors that cover pretty much everything the business needs covered. I really like the management. Their software and data analytics overview. This right here is quite cool. You actually get a driver display. You can have this on like a phone or an iPad, and it shows you how much money you're saving on fuel, and it has an app that shows, you know, your performance, things of the likes. Has cloud connectivity, of course, enables data transfer and storage, and supports firmware over the air remote updates. Very important, something Tesla has rolled out and people have absolutely loved. And it also means more feedback for Hyliion. It means more feedback for the company in what needs to change, what needs to get updated sooner rather than later. And they have their products out there as of right now, so they are getting all of this information back, which leads to, you know, faster developments in new technology. Here's something very important as well, the Hypertruck ERX commercialization plan. So demo truck development and testing. This is happening right now. There are videos on YouTube of people test driving these trucks. Production design and development, again, has started, should be finished by next year. Testing and validation has started. Fleet demo rollout towards the end of next year. Commercialization and launch activities. Again, maybe the second quarter, more than likely towards the end of next year, and then volume production should start happening in 2022, very early on, all going according to plan. It's exciting, guys. It's really exciting. So their financials, okay, 2020, 1 million, 2021 expected 8 million, 2022, 2023, we get to 2024 and we're looking at 2,091 million, and that only reflects 2.2% of a 94 billion plus annual addressable market by 2024, when everything should be 100% capacity. So ultimately it could be a lot higher than that. That would lead to an EBITDA margin of 28.8% and a gross profit margin of 35.3%. As of right now, it's a completely funded business plan. The high margins reflect Hyliion's proprietary patented technology. That's harder to say than it should be. No material debt throughout the projection period. No material debt. And the current balance sheet preserves flexibility for future growth needs. So a quick recap of some important points before we have a look into a few more things. Lowest total cost of ownership. Only electric net carbon negative emission solution. Strong customer demand with launch partner 1,000 truck pre-order. Worldwide R/CNG infrastructure and entirely fuel agnostic, unlike Nikola, who has to build all of the hydrogen systems, compatible with any Class 8 truck from any manufacturer. No additional capital required to get to volume production. Everything looks fantastic. So a few more just little bits and pieces that are very interesting about Hyliion as well. So Hyliion's CEO on choosing natural gas power, beating Tesla, Nikola with infrastructure. So the plan is simple: leverage existing infrastructure and partners to beat competitors to the market. Very important right now. So becoming the early board, okay? Time is the primary factor in Hyliion's pursuit of a relationship with Tortoise. They have to get things moving very quickly. So why do they go for a reverse merger with the SPAC Tortois Acquisition? We value the amount of capital we would be able to bring in that would fully fund our business plan, which puts us in a position where we do not have to go out to raise more capital in the future. So that is a huge benefit. And that could be a huge benefit for us investors as well, because it may well mean that they don't need to raise new capital through issuing new shares, which would mean that our shares don't get diluted. As we look at our positioning in the industry, we are building our relationships with existing truck manufacturers and suppliers. Being a public traded company allows for more transparency within the industry and allows for people to have more confidence in what we are doing. We are saying, yes, we are a company that is here. We are not going away, and we are going to have a big impact on this industry. Beautiful words, beautiful words. What was the philosophy on choosing natural gas? There are 3 factors that drive the pros and cons of each fueling solution: cost, emission levels, and infrastructure. And we just pretty much went through all of this in the investors presentation. What strategy is Hyliion adopting to beat competitors to the market? Again, we spoke about this. They're doing a lot, focusing on the powertrain, not trying to reinvent the entire truck. The approach that Tesla and Nikola are taking is that they are not only reinventing the powertrains, but they are building their full vehicles from the ground up. And so with our approach, there are less barriers and hurdles that we need to overcome. That means that they can get into the market faster, people. They can get their name out there faster than the competition. When you ask questions like, how are you going to design the vehicle? And what safety and crash testing do you need to go through? As well as think about warranties and recalls. We are piggybacking on what OEMs have already done. We are coming in with the new powertrain, which will allow for a quicker adoption cycle to impact the market. Now, I know I'm going to get a few people asking me, when is the merger happening? We don't know. It is expected to be completed by the end of the current quarter. So we don't know the date, but it is expected to be closed within the next few months. Now again, expected is the word that needs to be kept in mind. Now look, on Friday they went down 10.42%, and it's not like this was a shock. On the 5-day chart, they're actually down over 18%. On the 5-day chart, Nikola's down 23.7, Tesla's down 6.72. But if we go to just a day later on at the peaks, they're actually down over 14%. Workhorse, a similar story. They're actually up on the 5-day chart, but if we go to the very peaks of the day previous, they're down 11%. So there's been a sell-off all across the board in regards to EV, guys. It's okay. There's no particular piece of news that made this sell-off particularly justified. It's just what's happening in the EV sector as a whole right now. And it's understandable because the EV sector has seen so much hype and so much upward movement. A lot of people are probably just taking their profits. Now, do I think this is a good price point? I have to be honest, guys. I opened a position with these guys. A tiny position, okay? Because, to be honest, I did think that the run-up wasn't justified. So, I opened up a position of 8 shares. And do you want to know how bad of a timing I got in at? It was at about $26 a share. So I'm down an awful lot. Now, thankfully, it was only 8 shares. So it was a very small position. But I think the fact that I was willing to open a small position at that price point should kind of go without saying I am quite willing to buy at this price point. It is a company I want to get into very, very much so. We just spoke briefly about Workhorse. If you're following the channel, you'll know how bullish I am on Workhorse. And that's where a lot of my more so speculation money has been going. I don't like to call Workhorse or Shell a spec company. Just because they're relatively new and because they're growth companies doesn't mean that they're speculative. Both of these guys have products. I think you could call Nicholas speculative because they don't have any products, but both of these are businesses with products and very detailed plans going forwards. At this current price point, I'm happy to buy. I'll probably more than double up on my position, but with that being said, it would in no way surprise me whatsoever if we saw this company continue down for a little while. A lot of people have made a lot of money here, and I think that is a big part of the reason why it has sold off so aggressively. People are just taking their profits. Once Nikola did their reverse merger with Vector IQ, right, people just seemed to think that electric vehicles were invincible. A lot of people thought that, you know, a company doing a SPAC merger essentially meant you're guaranteed 500% profit in a couple of days. That's not the way the world works. It's not the way the world ever has worked, and it's not the way the world will work in the future. A lot of people bought this company without ever doing the smallest bit of research into the company. And a lot of people got very lucky, and they made 100, 200% here and there. And then they started to see it going down and down, so they think, I'm going to sell. I'm going to run away with my profits. Happy days. I've no clue what the company does. I'll take my money. And that's going to keep pushing the stock's price down lower and lower. Now, we can't think like that. We have to think as long-term investors because that's what they are. And at this price point, with a market cap of $500 million, I think it's an incredible price point. I do also think you will have to have strong hands. The next couple of months could be very shaky. There more than likely won't be much major news surrounding this company until the merger happens. Since this all happened back around the 18th and 19th of June, not a lot more has come out, people. And so I think that's what's getting a lot of the weak hands out of this company as well. So with me, I more than likely will add to my position at this price point, with the understanding that there's a very real possibility, in my opinion, this company could quite easily fall towards the $15 mark if people still just keep running away with their profits. And if we do drop below the $15 mark or so, that's when I would more than likely buy again. I would also like to make it quite clear that to me this isn't a short-term play, just like Workhorse isn't a short-term play to me. This is a long-term investment. Again, just because a company is relatively new, because a company hasn't been around for decades, doesn't mean it has to be a short-term play. In the first few weeks of something like this coming out, yeah, it's a short-term investment, no doubt about it. So at these price points, I more than likely will pick up a little bit more next week, dollar cost average, because I am at a horrific cost basis. Thankfully, it's a very small position. But yeah, that is my thoughts on this company. If you watched till the end of this video, I really appreciate it. It probably was quite a long video, but I really wanted to give you guys all of the relevant information I possibly could on this company because I've been getting asked about them more and more as of late. And if you did watch until the end, I genuinely appreciate you so much. I mean, it's really hard for me to describe it over a little video, but I appreciate you more than I can put into words. And you, my friend, are a true legend. So thank you from the bottom of my heart. I do ultimately think that Hyliion is a very, very exciting opportunity. I do think it's giving us a really exciting opportunity. Please just look at a company like Hyliion as that, as a company. Don't look at them as, you know, the next Tesla. Don't look at them as a random EV company. Look into the company itself, because a lot of people are getting too caught up in this hype train of EVs, and there are some very good companies and some very bad companies out there. So always do your due diligence before getting involved in a company like this. But anyway, if you did watch until the end, again, I appreciate you so much. Please smash that like button if you haven't yet. It helps me out so much. And please drop me a comment. Those two things genuinely are what drives this channel's growth, and I would really appreciate it. And with that being said, guys, I will see you for another video in a few hours. I hope you have an absolutely fantastic day. Peace.